Hey guys, it's Ashley and I am hopping on today to celebrate my 5-year anniversary with Poshmark. Yay! I am so excited. So today I wanted to come on and make this video talking about my 5-year journey so far on Poshmark, share my stats of how far I've grown being on the platform, and then 10 tips plus a bonus tip of what I wish I knew when I first started on Poshmark. I could have saved myself so much time, so much hassle. And then lastly, that bonus tip at the end is gonna help you save money and time and trouble on your Poshmark journey too. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start off with some stats. So, as I've been on Poshmark for 5 years now, again, can't believe it. This is the first platform I joined when starting my reseller journey. I didn't even know I was going to become a reseller. It was more, I was buying my very first home that fall winter of 2016. I was trying to clear out my closet with items. I didn't want to move to the next house out of my parents' house. So when I first started, I maybe had 20 listings in 2016 from September to December. And I had priced everything super cheap, like $5, where I'd earn like $2 back after the end, after fees, just to try to get rid of it. So I'm really excited to share these tips with you. So if you're new, if you just joined Poshmark, and you're trying to learn more about it, let me save you time and trouble with these tips. Okay, tip number 1. Don't overvalue or undervalue your items. So you're going to take the time to list an item on Poshmark. The first step that you're going to do is to run comps or comparables. So what that means is before we list the item, we're going to shop in Poshmark for an item just like yours to see what it's sold for most recently. So I always like to filter by the brand. If I have the exact name of an item, that's perfect. Give me a good idea of what things are going for. You can also look at like styles as well. So again, we're going to shop, but instead of looking for available items, we're going to filter over to sold items. The top results are going to show you the most recently sold price, so you can get a good handle on what your item is going for right away on the app. I do this with all my platforms. For pricing, I check what it's selling for on the platform that I'm going to be listing it on. So if you sell on multiple, take a look just in case. Okay, tip number 2, and listen closely. Don't be in a rush and sell it for cheap. I say this because the first year I was on Poshmark, I did not understand how the app worked, okay? I was giving stuff away where I was barely making $2 an item. My average selling price for the first year and a half was between $5 and $10, meaning if I sold something for $5, I was only making $2 and I could have gotten way more for it. But since it was used in clothing, I was so afraid that nobody was going to want it. I was giving stuff away at garage sale prices. Yeah, my stuff sold, but I could have been making way more money right out the get-go. So do your comps, check, be realistic about your item and the wear, and take beautiful photos. Do not think that just because you've had it forever doesn't mean that somebody else won't love it and will pay the price that you're asking for it. Tip number 3, be honest about your item's condition or wear. Now, when I say condition or wear, I'm talking about when you're putting it in the description of your Poshmark listing. People need to know what they're buying up front. So the more that you have that information filled out, the less time you have to take answering people's questions. The number one question that people get, I'm quite positive, is are there any marks, rips, tears, stains, or flaws? If you put your items wear in the description, you won't get hounded with those types of questions. So make sure to note if it's new with tags or new with box. That's an easy sale. Excellent used condition, hardly worn, gently loved, good used condition. Put that in the listing. If there's any flaws, note it. I have sold plenty of things where there was maybe like a pencil tip hole. Be really descriptive. Take photos of if there's any damage as well so that people can see it. People will still buy t-shirts with some pilling as long as you're upfront and honest and take photos of the wear so that they can see it. Remember that people can't touch the item, they can't see it in person. You are doing their job for them of being their eyes. So be upfront and honest and help yourself and not get any negative reviews or returns. Tip number 4, lighting is everything when it comes to making sales. So today I am filming this video with the help of my ring light. Now, even though I've been on Poshmark for 5 years, I've only had my ring light for maybe 6 months at the most. So let me give you some tips on what you can do for lighting if you're not ready to invest in a ring light. Now, I got mine for $30 on Amazon, so not too much harm on the wallet, but you can use natural light through windows. If there's a table, even like a TV tray. When I first started, I had my bedroom window, a TV tray, and 2 white poster boards to shoot my products. And it worked great. Floor lamps, anything you can use. The brighter, the better. And make sure for lighting, so stuff doesn't look too yellow, I like to use daylight bulbs or bright white LED bulbs to help get better colors in your listings. Thankfully now, Poshmark allows you to edit the photos right in the app, but they didn't have that back then. So not only were you taking photos, but if the lighting was wrong or the color looked wrong, you'd have to go in photo editing apps, try to match it. So using natural light or bright lights or even a ring light is going to be super helpful for your sales. I've seen things in the past where it's a t-shirt hanging on a door in a dark room and you can't see anything. If we can't see it, we're not going to buy it. Tip number 5, take good and lots of photos. So with Poshmark now, you now have the option to take up to 16 photos for your listing. Take advantage of that photo opportunity. When I first started in 2016, now mind you, the app was already in progress for a while before I even joined. We were only allowed 8 photos. So we've now doubled the amount of photos that we can take, which is fantastic. Now, again, I'm not saying you have to take 16 photos, but just remember that you are now the buyer's eyes. We can't feel the item, pick it up, or see it. So making sure that you're taking photos of the front, the back, the sides, the bottom if it has a bottom, you know, the inside. Show us the condition, the wear, or if there's any flaws so that we know right away and you don't get hounded with questions. The more photos you have, the less questions people will ask. Okay, tip number 6. Try to answer any questions people may have in your listing description. So, we talked about mentioning what kind of condition or wear your item has, but make sure that you're also posting what color the item is, what type of closure it has, so whether it's clothing, a handbag, whatever. If you have that it's a snap closure, a zipper closure, buttons, that's super helpful for people to see in case you didn't take those photos of where the closure is. You've got that covered. Things like for shoes, for example, I always measure the heel height. Some people can manage 2-inch heels, but they can't go more than 4. So try to take the time, measure heel heights. Dresses, definitely do measurements if possible. All you need is a fabric measuring tape and knowing where to place it on the item. So really handy tip. You can learn on YouTube how to take proper measurements. Things like inseams, very helpful, especially if you're selling men's clothing. So just keep that in mind. There's nothing I hate more when I'm at work at my full-time job and somebody asks me a question because I forgot to include that information in my listing. So not only does that interested person now has to wait hours, they might find something else in the meantime that they like more and purchase. So if you put all that info in, you can save yourself time and questions, and you don't have to pull the item out of storage just to answer that one question. And then the person goes, thanks, and they move on and you don't hear from them. Tip number 7, title is everything. Now, I know I said lighting is everything, and that's still true, but your title is what makes sure your item gets found on Poshmark. So, making sure that you have a really good title with lots of great keywords can help people find your item faster by including multiple keywords. So, instead of titling something cute pink handbag, we're going to save that word cute for the description, and we are going to focus on who is the bag by, what color is it, any feature. So I have an example here. I've got this really cute, again, going in the description, fossil crossbody bag. So when I'm making my title, I'm going to follow kind of a certain list of rules, and Poshmark has been really helpful in giving you those hints. So when I do my titles, I am doing my brand first, so fossil, a color if it's possible, so I would call this a pink and brown floral, or I could be really specific and say more rose print, canvas, leather. This is faux leather, so I would just call this the majority of it, of what it is. So and then the style, so this is a crossbody style, and then a size if it's clothing or shoes. So when I'm doing this listing here, I'm going to be calling it a fossil pink/brown canvas floral crossbody bag. Now, I put in all those keywords, so if somebody just types in fossil or fossil bag, if somebody is looking for a specific color, pink, brown, cream, if somebody knows that they prefer canvas over nylon, having that fabric material in there, leather especially, make sure to put whether it's leather. If it's faux, you can put faux leather or vegan leather. What type of style it is. Style is crucial. So making sure that I'm marking it as a crossbody bag. And then lastly, Bag is just an extra fluffer word. Somebody might type in handbag, purse, clutch. They might get real specific when it comes to that style, but when it comes to the end, they might not know how to phrase it. So making sure you have all those keywords are going to be super helpful in making sure that your item gets found. Tip number 8, share your items first and daily. So the crucial thing to remember about sharing your closet is that you should do it daily to keep your items closer towards the top of the feed. Now, I'm not talking about your follower feed. I'm talking about your brand and category feed that your item is in. So, just like with my fossil purse that we were talking about of how I would list it, I want to make sure that it stays on top of the fossil brand listing, on top of the fossil purse listing, the purses, the crossbody bags, by making sure I'm sharing my item. Tip number 9. So when it comes to the Poshmark parties, I like to use them not to share my listings to, but to get a better idea of what's trending, what's hot, what brands are popular right now when I'm sourcing. So when I'm going to thrift stores, however I'm doing my sourcing or however you do it, it's a really great way for me to know what's in and what's out. That is how I use it. Can you share stuff to parties? Sure. If you have free time or if you have a lot of items, go ahead and share. But I have not seen in my personal experience a ton of sales come from me sharing to the Best in Boutiques party. Tip number 10. And this, I feel, is the most important tip, so hopefully you stayed with me here, is don't compare your closet or your earnings to others. So when I first started Poshmark, I would see these people with 110,000 followers and how many available listings they had. Or I'd watch YouTube and how much money somebody made in a short amount of time on Poshmark. And I have to remember, they all have their own processes and they probably worked hard to get there. So somebody just starting out or somebody who doesn't have a lot of time, you can't beat yourself up. Go at your own pace, go through your own process, do what works for you. If you want to bring your numbers up, you'll find ways to do that. I'm not going to give you tips on how to do that. I'm still learning myself here, obviously. I just wanted to share my journey and, go through the process. So just remember, don't compare yourself to others. Everybody's going at their own speed and what works for them. So stay tuned for the bonus tip where I plan on helping you save more money on Poshmark. Here it comes. Okay, bonus tip. Tip number 11. Save money by getting your packaging for Poshmark with the help of USPS. Now, this is not sponsored, but let me tell you, everything I order can be used with a Poshmark priority mail label. So I love it. I haven't had any issues with my post office because it says on the label that you can use it on any of the items. So they have a ton of different sizes. Here's just one example, but it comes packaged like this right to your door. If you're in an apartment or your big mailbox, I love it. This is a pack of 25, I think, in just this one size. I absolutely love it. I think it's great. You can order them for free. It does take a couple weeks to get to your door, but if you're first starting out and you don't want to get those cute poly mailers or anything, start off with the free USPS packaging. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions about how to order, I will try to put that below in the description so you can check that out. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks so much for celebrating my 5 years on Poshmark with me. Till the next one.